As a therapist, I've worked with hundreds of men on their porn addiction recovery journey. And if you're exhausted and lost, here are the 13 things that I want to tell you so you can get out of this cycle yourself. Stop resisting urges. Quitting porn was never about resisting urges. It's about not having them in the first place. Here's what I mean. All of the surface level tools that you've been told to use, like distract yourself or use willpower, exercise, those are things that you do after you're already triggered. But by then, it's too late. You're already in the cycle. You need a different type of tool. One that you use before the urge ever even happens. One that identifies and resolves the root cause. Because porn addiction is a coping mechanism. It's what your brain turns to when you're stressed or you're tired after work, you're doubting yourself, anxious. If you don't resolve and process those negative feelings, they will turn into an urge. And if the only tool that you know is focused on resisting the urge itself, you're going to be struggling with this for a long time because urges don't just go away on their own. You have to resolve the roots of them away. You don't have a discipline problem, you have a strategy problem. Think about a Rubik's Cube. If you sit there for hours just spinning it around, hoping that something clicks, you're not going to get very far, no matter how long you work on it, no matter how hard you try. But if you know the right strategy and which side to turn and in what sequence, you move this side here, you move that side there, it becomes so simple. Porn addiction recovery works the same way. It's not about trying harder, it's about applying the right strategy. And if this is one area where you're struggling and you're not sure where to start, then you can download my free guide that gives you specific strategies that you can implement this week to make progress quickly. Just click on the link below in the description. The urge is not the enemy, it's a messenger. Think of an urge like a smoke detector. When it goes off, it's annoying, it's loud. Your first instinct is to want to rip the batteries out of it so it stops beeping. But the beeping isn't the problem. It's trying to warn you about a fire somewhere in the building. If all you do is silence the detector, the fire is going to keep burning. You just can't hear the warning anymore. So the next time an urge shows up, before you fight it, I want you to pause and ask yourself, if porn is a coping mechanism, what am I trying to run away from? Whether it's loneliness or stress, inadequacy, not feeling enough. Whatever the answer is, that is where to put your focus. That's what to work on and to address. And once you do that, you'll notice that the urge connected to it just loses its power very quickly. In the same way, once you put the fire out, the smoke alarm will stop on its own. You lack skills, not discipline. If you can't quit porn, it's not because you're weak or undisciplined. It's because you haven't learned the specific skills that resolve what's underneath the porn addiction. I worked with a man who came to me stressed and isolated, carrying a lot of shame about who he was. Even though he was smart and successful at work, he was a good dad, but privately he struggled with this heavy feeling of inadequacy, and that's what kept triggering him to search for things when he was alone at night. Over several months, he focused on 3 specific skills: how to increase his confidence and be able to feel his worth, how to process stress instead of just stuffing it down so it didn't keep piling up, and number 3, how to build real connection instead of just isolating himself when things got difficult. A couple of months later, he told me that he was in a completely different place because of it. So here's the takeaway. It wasn't because he found more willpower suddenly. It was because he learned the skills that actually met the needs that he was using porn to try to numb out. You will keep repeating the same patterns until you build the skills that will actually break it. Believe that you're already worthy right now, not once you quit porn. A lot of men believe that they will feel worthy after they've stopped struggling with porn. Like self-worth is what you gain when you finally quit. But that is totally backwards. And it's actually a part of what's keeping you stuck. If you keep struggling with triggers and giving in and falling down, that doesn't mean this is who you are. Your actions are not who you are. They're a reflection of your skills that you currently have. So if you just keep relapsing, maybe the skill that you lack is emotional processing, or effective communication, or the ability to process and resolve stress. These are the types of skills that help you to break the old pattern of pornography use, because you can actually do something different instead of feeling like your only option is to escape. It's not a character flaw. It's just a gap in your toolkit. And toolkits can build one skill at a time starting today. So if you lack skills, it doesn't mean you're less worthy. It just means that you've had less practice and training. It has nothing to do with who you are. You can't out-discipline unprocessed emotion. Pushing a feeling down is like holding a beach ball underwater. The harder that you push, the more force it comes back with later. Trying to white-knuckle your way past stress or loneliness doesn't make the feeling disappear, it just delays it. And usually it comes back stronger, and that's when it turns into an urge. It might feel like it comes out of nowhere, but it doesn't. If you want the urge to actually lose its power, then sitting with the feeling underneath and processing it, instead of just shoving it down, that's how you make it lose the power. What does that look like? Well, it means that you might name what you're actually feeling. You might sit with it for a couple of minutes instead of just trying to escape it or pick up your phone. You may talk to somebody about it. You may decide to take an action to resolve it. Whatever one of these strategies works best for you, the emotion has to go somewhere to get processed, not just get pushed down one more time. Don't do this alone. Whatever you're carrying gets heavier the longer you keep it to yourself. Getting it out, actually saying it out loud to at least one person that you trust, is one of the fastest ways to change how you feel, even before the situation itself changes. There's a phrase that says, the opposite of addiction isn't sobriety, it's connection. Isolation will cause you to spiral faster than almost anything else. The more you keep all of your struggles to yourself, the worse you're going to feel. And the more you're going to want to use pornography to escape how heavy things are. So pick out even just one person and start to open up to them about what's going on for you. You'll be amazed how much better you feel after even one conversation. You don't need to be afraid of your own sexuality. Sexual desire isn't the problem. The problem is when the desire gets fueled by unresolved stress or loneliness or shame as a way to escape how you feel, instead of just being a normal, healthy part of who you are as a human being. Some guys start to fear their own desire altogether. Like if they feel it, they're afraid that it means they're still struggling or they're broken, but that is not true at all. And treating it like that adds more shame to the top of whatever you're already struggling with. So I want you to try this, a 15-second check-in the next time you notice desire show up. I want you to think, is this just normal, healthy desire of me being a human being, or am I trying to escape something right now? That one question will change how you respond, because you'll stop treating every sexual feeling like a problem and like somehow you're failing again. Don't confuse the root cause with the opportunity. Most relapses don't actually start the moment that you're alone. They start hours earlier. I worked with a man one time who was convinced that his biggest trigger was being alone at home at night. That was the only part of the pattern he could see in the beginning. But when we looked closer, the real pattern actually started earlier in the afternoon. For example, one day it was a tense phone call with his wife that never got resolved, followed by hours of just stewing in it and replaying it and spiraling, and he went through the rest of the day acting like nothing happened. By the time he was alone at night, the relapse wasn't really a decision anymore. It was almost inevitable because there was so much momentum pushing him towards it. It had already been set in motion hours before, and being alone was the final moment when it actually had an opportunity to happen. So if you think being alone is a trigger, you end up telling yourself, well, I can just never be alone again, which obviously isn't realistic, and it's not actually true most of the time. Understanding what happened earlier in the day can help you fix the right thing instead of just managing the wrong one and thinking your trigger is being alone if it's actually something else. Know your top 3 emotional triggers by heart. Don't wait until you're flooded and you're feeling the intensity of the urge before you try to start to figure out what's driving it. Know your top 3 triggers ahead of time and build a plan for each one before you need it. If loneliness is one of your triggers, your plan might be super simple, like setting up one standing weekly call or lunch with your friend. so you can consistently get that need met ahead of time. If stress from work is a trigger, then maybe you take a 5-minute walk around the block and try to analyze why you're feeling overwhelmed and come up with some ideas to resolve it. A plan that you build in advance will always work better than if you're trying to figure out what to do in the middle of an urge when your judgment is already compromised. Only use habit-level tools for habit-level urges. Not all urges come from the same place. They each require a different tool. Some urges come from unresolved emotion that your brain is trying to escape. That's what we've been talking about so far. But other ones are just habit-based. It's just the normal routine that your brain runs on autopilot at a certain time or at a certain place. Like on the couch after your wife goes to bed. Or if you're on your phone while you're trying to unwind from a workday. Habit-level tools like changing your environment, breaking the routine, adding friction between you and the trigger, those work great for habit-level urges, but they won't resolve an urge that's coming from stress or loneliness underneath it. The key in all of this is to match the right tool with what's actually driving the urge. This is a big reason why men stay stuck in this pattern for so long, is because they mismatch the urge with the wrong tool. Learn to recover quickly after a relapse instead of giving up. I had a client who relapsed after 2 months of really good progress, and it nearly made him want to quit the whole process. He told me he felt like it was proof that none of this was working, that he was right back to where he started, but when we looked at what actually happened in the weeks leading up to it, there was one specific thing that stood out. He was faced with a new situation that overwhelmed him. It shined a light on an unresolved part of the root cause that he hadn't addressed yet. All of the skills that he had learned, how to process his feelings, how to communicate more effectively, how to set boundaries, he didn't lose any of that. After he was faced with this new situation, he got the next level of tools that he needed to resolve that, and then he just kept making progress. So if you find yourself struggling with a slip after a period of time, don't be hard on yourself. Instead, just get curious. Ask yourself what specific factor led to that particular slip. Then you build a plan to address that one thing. That's how you can recover in hours or days instead of losing months to guilt and self-judgment. Change your approach. Don't keep doing what hasn't worked for you. It is 100% possible for you to overcome this. My confidence in that is unshakable. You can do this. Real freedom is available to you. But repeating the same approach that's already failed you and hoping for a different result isn't going to get you there. So pick even just one thing from what we've talked about today and start practicing that this week. That's how you build real momentum. It's not about trying harder at the same old strategy, but finally using a new approach and doing it differently. So don't give up. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you on the next one.